sure Matt will do a great job in this pre-final.
Here we go. The formation looks good. DD2 pre-final race fans, 10 laps about to unfold. Kinsman on the front, Buckseater's there. Waddell trying to force the issue down into turn number 1. Bond Roby, though, will hang on for that 3rd place. Kinsman gets through turn 1 cleanly. Runs the charge up to turn 3 with Buckseater in 2nd place. Let's look at how this field unfolds on the opening lap as they come back down the hill to enter the infield through the paperclip. Roby's there in 3rd place. Waddell is in 4th. Already Waddell is pushing the issue, trying to make the moves on Roby through the paperclip. Well, Kinsman is trying to get away early. He knows that it's a short, relatively short pre-final of 10 laps. He's so good at busting away from the field and making them work hard for it further back. Single file up through the horseshoe. We saw on the live stream earlier those brilliant images of just how technical it is at the top, and you see it now as they run down the mountain. There's a lot of elevation from the top to the bottom of that back straight. The completion of lap number 1, Kinsman across the stripe first. Here comes a charge from Waddell. Waddell looks like he's lost a couple of numbers off that cart. No, has he gone back through the field? The 8 cart is in there of Simon Davies. But Kinsman is the one who'll lead him. Buckseater in 2nd place. 3rd place is Roby. There is Waddell just in front of Davies. That was the confusing issue there for me. I thought we'd lost the number 1 off the back of Waddell for a moment there. It is pretty tight racing out there. Some stickers are going to get rubbed off this weekend, no doubt about that. Jason Lee making his way up through the field. He had tremendous pace in heat number 2 yesterday. When is this guy going to have some luck? Because I'll tell you, when he does, he'll be on the podium. Kinsman leading again down the back straight, stretching away from Buckseater. We'll have a look at lap time next time through. Stunning image there on the live stream. Kinsman tucked in. 54.2 for Kinsman. 54.46 for Buckseater. Kinsman has 2/10 on the field right now. Roby looks quick. Well, I can tell you that the 31 of Daniel Kinsman has come through for 4th place. Just when we thought Waddell might have tried to force the issue on Roby, it is Dan Kinsman that's burgled away that position, and he's come from 6th place up to 4th in that last half a lap. Top 3 have started to stretch away. Let's see what the pace of the 31 has now that he's got fresh air in 4th. Can Waddell latch onto the back of Dan Kinsman and try and get a tow up to Bond Roby? It's Torrid Racing further back. 6-cart freight train as they all jostle for position, trying to get the best grid position possible for the winner takes all final lap. Final race later on. It's let's have a look how many laps we're running later. 20 laps for DD2. It's going to be a long race. A race of attrition for sure. Fastest on the track this time is Bond Roby. 53.8 for Roby. 53.8. He was only a 10th quicker than Kinsman, but it might just help him mount a charge up onto Buckseater now as we see that he's closing in on 2nd place. There's Kinsman there on the stream, looking very smooth out in front. The issue now for Buckseater is he took a quick look back and saw that the 17 of Roby was closing in on him. Dan Kinsman, 54.4. Well, Kinsman lost a lot of pace there on that lap. Not sure why. As we see that Roby was in fact 6/10 quicker. So maybe Dan Kinsman just had an issue out on the racetrack. Sam Waddell's still keeping him honest back there in 5th place as they stretch down that back straight. The longest back straight in KartSport in New Zealand here at Century Batteries International Raceway. Stunning images, they cross the stripe now. 6 laps to go. And Bond Roby within striking distance now of Buckseater. Buckseater's going to have to work hard for it. We can see the number 6 of Tony Walker has managed to move up through the field also. He's racked and stacked them all in behind, and one of those is the 5 cart of Jason Lee, who's trying to make some moves. He's trying to go and work over the number 8 now of Simon Davies. Tiffany Hamilton is slowly but surely making her way up through this field as they dive down into the paperclip. A move further back for around 10th position. Oh, too wide. There's contact at the bottom of the paperclip. Could that compromise race pace on the run up the mountain? Certainly someone got caught out and will lose a position. That's a 5-6 cart freight train right at the top. Impressive racing through that field. Let's go back to Matthew Kinsman. The defending champion wants this. 5 laps to go. We're only half race distance here in this pre-final. Jono Buckseater under threat from Roby. Consistent 54 flats for both Buckseater and Roby. They're only 1/10 down on Matthew Kinsman. But Kinsman did the hard work in that first part of the race, stretched away, and now he's on the dry part of the circuit and just running consistently fast laps. Look at him there, he's just so smooth. You never see Kinsman animated in that seat at all. IKS Karting Supplies does a lot for a lot of drivers through that team. Also a sponsor here this weekend as well. Daniel Kinsman still in fourth. Bond Roby just in front of him, but he's not making any inroads because Roby's the one who's putting pressure on Buxeda. Sam Waddell is fifth. Tiffany Hamilton, she's moved up into the top six as we once again look at them come back down the mountain. So fast through turn number 11. 4 laps to go. All the action further behind. Hamilton's done a good job to get top 6, but with everybody just further up like they are, I don't think she's going to be able to go any further forward unless something happens. But it hasn't been a bad drive though for Tiffany. She did go back a little bit early on in this heat race. She's back where she started on the grid. The former British champion. She's represented New Zealand and Britain at the World Rotax Championships. One of the very few drivers to do dual nationalities and represent. That's a great honour. She's desperate for a 1, 2, 3 plate. Looking back through the field there, we see the 6 of Tony Walker battling with the 32 of Josh Bethune, David Malcolm and Carl Ellis. As we go back to the race lead, Kinsman just disappears out of shot because now that challenge for the 2nd, 3rd and 4th is tightening up. Kinsman, the 31 of Dan Kinsman, is starting to come on strong. 3 laps to go and Daniel Kinsman's the quickest on the racetrack. Lap number 7, 53.67. Matt Kinsman's away down the racetrack. Dan will see that. He'll try and follow his brother home. And now that he's closing in on Buxeda and Bon Roby, he might have a chance of running a top 2 before this race is over. And don't discount Waddell either, because if Daniel Kinsman throws a wheel up the inside of both those 2 in front, I'm sure Waddell will close the gap and try and make a run for a top. Whoa, on the grass there. Very tight racing. I think that was Bon Roby that put a wheel up. You saw how animated that cart got. He had to grab a whole lot of steering and try and keep it pointed on the black stuff. And that has certainly helped out Dan Kinsman, who took a quick look back on the back straight to see where Waddell was. And Dan Kinsman's going to make a move down into turn number 1. Kinsman diving down the inside of Roby, can't make it stick. And exactly as I thought, Waddell is now in this 4-car battle for that 2nd, 3rd, 4th and 5th position. Playing right into the hands of Matt Kinsman out in front, who's just gone quicker again. 53.67, fastest lap of the race there for Matt Kinsman. The challenge again down through the paperclip. Buxeda 2nd. 3rd place, Roby. Here comes the 81 of Waddell. Waddell's going to have a go up the inside of Kinsman. Waddell got a brilliant drive off the bottom of the paperclip and has gone by the 31. That is a big surprise. Dan Kinsman making a slight mistake perhaps, and that has split that race. Now 2nd and 3rd have got a gap, and on the final lap now for Matt Kinsman. Buxeda still 2nd. Roby's going to dive, is he? No, he can't. He's too far back. Here comes Dan Kinsman back on the inside of the 81 of Waddell for 4th. 5th place. 6th place now there for Hamilton. Jason Lee, a brilliant drive from the back to get back up into the top 7. He could have a good run in that final as that kart starts to come on strong towards the end of this race. Final round through the paperclip here for Matt Kinsman. What better way for a New Zealand champion to start a defence of a title here in this pre-final with a stunning win. Who's going to grab 2nd and 3rd place? Buxeda has done a great job to hold out Roby. Roby goes wide at the top of the horseshoe, looking for some pace, trying to get the momentum up so he can latch on to the bumper and run a draft down the back straight. Matt Kinsman, though, the defending champion's going to dominate pre-final number 1 for DD2 as he crosses the line. 2nd place, it's going to be tight. Buxeda's just going to prevail from Bon Roby. Sam Waddell will get the better of Daniel Kinsman for 4th place. Kinsman coming home in 5th, 6th place there for Tiffany Hamilton, 7th for Jason Lee, 8th place Josh Bethune, 9th is David Malcolm, 10th place for Tony Walker, 11th Carl Ellis, and 12th place will go to Simon Davies. Well,